Hello everyone, welcome to our informational video. My name is Raquel and I am the co-founder of Millionaire Millennials Investment Group. Now our investment group is not just millennials, okay? We are composed of people from all different generations, backgrounds, races, religions, genders, all of that, okay? Now, if you are on here tonight, that means someone made money from their phone and they thought to tell you how to do it, okay? So you're here at the right place at the right time. And today, I'm gonna cover some things that you probably have never even heard of before, okay? So I'm super excited for you. Now, what is Forex and why is everybody raving about Forex? Now, Forex is not a company. Forex is short for the foreign exchange market, which on this day, it circulates $7.3 trillion every single day. That is a lot of money. And because of that, it is actually the largest financial market in the entire world, right? It is the largest global financial market. There is no other market that compares to how big this one is. I'm sure some of us have probably heard of the stock market or the real estate market or other markets as such. And yes, those markets are very large and lucrative, but they still don't compare to how big this market is. So what exactly do we do? Well, we buy and sell currencies and make profits off of those fluctuations and those exchange rates. But before I get into the complexities of this, I want to take you on a trip with me, okay? So you and I are both going to take $100 US. We're going to drive to the airport and we're going to fly over to Dubai. Dubai is so beautiful, right? Now, upon landing, the first thing we have to do is exchange our US dollars into Dubai dirhams. After all, that is the currency over there, right? Okay, awesome. So we go to the foreign exchange currency booth at the airport. If you've never noticed those at the airport, they exist. Now I'm sure you will notice them. Okay, so while we're leaving the airport, we run into a really nice tour guide. And they say, hey guys, I'm gonna take care of all of the expenses for your whole entire trip. We don't have to spend a single thing. We're excited, right? We're in Dubai, we go to Atlantis, 5 days, we're out there. Okay, awesome. Now, when those 5 days are over, we have to come back to the United States. So we're gonna bring those dirhams and exchange them back into the US dollars, okay? So upon doing that, we fly back to the airport. Now this time, instead of receiving our original $100 US, we receive 120 US. So we make a $20 profit. And I know what you're thinking. Whoa, Raquel, did the tour guide, give us an extra $20 on our trip? No, that's not what happened. What happened is while we were in Dubai, the value of the currencies fluctuated and we were able to make a profit off of those fluctuations and that exchange rate. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this does not require you to drive to the airport or fly overseas every day, okay? That would be kind of crazy. You can do this from the comfort of your own cell phone. And I'm gonna get into that in a second, right? But before, I wanna cover now, what exactly do we trade? Because it does not stop at foreign exchange currencies. We can also trade cryptocurrencies, and hopefully you have heard of cryptocurrencies. And if you haven't, no worries. These are digital currencies, right? It includes Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, Ripple. Nowadays, you can actually use Bitcoin to pay for things, okay? Now, we can also trade commodities. What are commodities? I'm talking about gold, oil, silver, right? Oil as in gas, metals, right? Now, the commodity bartering system is actually how this market first evolved. And lastly, we can exchange futures and indexes, right? What are futures and indexes? Well, I'm talking about the Dow Jones or the top US 30 stocks, the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, right? All of this that sort of deals and correlates with the US economy, right? You're thinking, man, what if the stock market crashes? Well, first of all, this is not the stock market. This is the foreign exchange market. But also the really cool thing about the Forex market is that it is actually recession proof. You can profit off of buying and selling. And in a few moments, I'm actually gonna show you guys a little tutorial on how this works, okay? So, we have commodities, futures, indexes, all of that good stuff. Now, who owns all of this money, right? Where is this money all stored? Well, let's start with the big banks. Wells Fargo, Chase, all of that. When you put your money in the bank, did you know that you basically authorize your bank to invest your money? Now, you probably did not know that before this, because I didn't know that, right? Your money doesn't just sit in the safe in the back. It actually gets invested. And when you receive your bank statement at the end of the month and you've made, 73 cents, your bank's credited you 73 cents. You're thinking, wow, why did my bank credit me 73 cents? Well, that's what they're giving you for allowing them to invest your money. But instead of you making 73 cents, you're going to make anything on a $7.3 trillion circulating market. Okay, next we have large global corporations. Now, these global corporations, which are worldwide, right? They don't just exist in one sole country. They're able to regulate the currency exchange rates to make the prices cheap and beneficial for them, okay? Next, we have hedge funds or hedgers. Now, these are entities or people that own millions and billions of dollars, and they're able to pump money into the markets and liquidate it. Okay, and then lastly, ladies and gentlemen, this is the most important market participant. We are called retail traders. And that's people just like myself and you potentially, right? People making money from our cell phones, okay? And you're probably wondering, why am I just now hearing about this? Well, back in the day, you needed millions and billions of dollars to trade on this market. Or you would apply to be a Forex trader for a bank and get paid a salary. Now, thankfully, due to the advancement of technology in the same way we're on this, video tonight, we now have the capability to trade from our cell phones due to the advancement of technology. So the first iPhone was created in 2007. When it was created, man, whoa, if you had an iPhone, you were really, really cool. It wasn't common just yet. But by the year 2012, now it started to become a normal thing to have a smartphone. Whether you had an iPhone, an Android, a Windows, it did not matter, okay? Now, a new generation of retail traders emerged where more and more people started trading from their phone. Now, fast forward to 2020, today, present day and age, okay? Believe it or not, only 3% of the world's population trades on this market. Only 3%. That means that 97% of the world out there has absolutely no idea that they can make money from their phone. So we can only imagine that 20 to 30 years from today, everybody's going to be trading from their phone, right? Isn't that crazy due to the advancement of technology? So if you're anything like me, I actually went to college for 4 years to study law and society. Right? Now, my dad is an immigrant who brought me from El Salvador to the United States to live a better life, right? And he told me, he said, you are going to go to college and you're going to either become a lawyer, a doctor, engineer, or a nurse. Anything to put at least 6 figures on the table, right? Now, my dad was not teaching me how to invest or trade from my cell phone. No one taught him after all, right? So how was he going to teach me? Okay, but that's okay. I went and I interned for the Department of Justice, and that's where I met one of my best friends in the entire world who taught me about financial literacy. Now, financial literacy is not the art of knowing how to save money. It's the art of knowing how to make money work for you, how to multiply your money, okay? So once I realized that I needed to stop spending all my money on liabilities and things that weren't making me money, right? Why'd I have 10 pairs of shoes and 1 pair of feet? I needed to be spending my money on assets and things that would allow me to make more money, okay? So that's when I invested in the foreign exchange market. $100 US, and I was able to make $200 return on my investment on my first day. That was incredible for me, okay? As a broke college student, man, I was on top of the world. Now, what exactly did I use to make those first $200? Well, I used what's called a signal. Now, a signal is when an expert trader has analyzed the market and they're going to give you those numbers to put into the app, okay? Now, I was not good at math. I was not sitting around doing math equations all day. I was just listening to those that had the results that I desired, right? Just like in school, if you want to become an engineer, you go to engineering school, right? Well, here, if you want to be successful as a foreign exchange market, right, as a trader, well, then you have to listen to those that have the success you desire. Okay, so now I'm going to share my phone screen with you all and show you how this works. So first, I'm going to start with the trading app. It is called the MetaTrader 4 app, as you can see at the top left corner. Now here I have several trades running for you all because I want you guys to see exactly how this works. I did mention that this was a recession-proof market earlier, and I want to show you exactly how. So at the top right here, you see that I'm exchanging the Australian dollar for the US dollar. And besides that, you see buy. Okay, so we are buying in this trade and we're profiting $2,057. That's really cool. It's a profit. Now here we are selling the Great British Pound for the Canadian dollar. Selling opposite of buy, two different orders. We are profiting $1,213. This is what I mean when I say we can profit off of buying and selling. Okay, now here is a signal, right? An example of what I was talking about where an expert has sent you the numbers to put into the app. So here we are exchanging the euro for the Great British Pound, and they're telling us to buy limit, which is in order, okay? Now they're providing us with three very important numbers that go into a trade. So EP stands for entry price. That's the number in which you enter the market. It's just a price. Now the next number is your SL, or your stop loss. This is how much you're willing to risk on this investment. Like with any investment, there is risk involved. However, this is a calculated risk. The goal of this is for you to know how much you're potentially risking before you enter a trade. And the last number is a take profit. That is how much you're potentially profiting from a trade. So I'm going to go into the app and I'm going to look for the euro versus the Great British Pound because that's what we're trading. Okay, give me 1 second right here. Now I'm going to click trade. And upon all these orders that I have, I'm going to click the buy limit because that is what the expert has told me to do. And as you can see there, I have 3 blank fields in which I'm going to put in these numbers. So where it says price, I'm going to go ahead and take the EP, or the entry price, 0.900. And I'm going to put that in here, 0.900. The next number is the stop loss, or the SL, 0.89600. 0.89600. And the last number is the take profit, 0.90300. I'm going to put that in the app, and then I would click place. Okay, then my trade is here, and when it's ready to activate, it will activate on its own. Now, as a broke college student making $200 on my first day, that was pretty incredible for me. And I actually wanted to go ahead and learn the skill. I wanted to eventually become my own signal. So I'm going to show you exactly what educational tools I used to continue to be profitable in this space and be profitable independently. Now, we did not invent the foreign exchange market, okay? It's not a product, nothing tangible. It's the world's largest market. But what we did get access to were quality educational tools that would allow us to be profitable in this space and allow us to withdraw money. So it's called I Am Academy, and I'm going to break down the different educational tools. So the Academies is a series of modules that all range from different levels and languages. After all, this is a global market. So I'm going to choose English. Now here, these series of modules range from 2 to 3 minutes, and they're going to break down the very basics of this market. Okay, I'm pretty sure you have a lot of burning questions. You're probably wondering, what do all these numbers and letters mean? How do you know when to buy, when to sell? Man, you're probably a little, overwhelmed. No problem. The basics videos is going to cover all of that. When you learn a new language, you start with the alphabet. This is going to be your alphabet for success. And for an exchange, learning how to trade here is like, the language. Now, Go Live is the next educational tool. Now, this is like the Netflix of Forex, okay? So this is your guide. We have over 100 educators that get on here every single week on their own schedule, and they're going to live train you on how to read, analyze, and execute trades on this market. Now, one of my favorite educators, his name is Starboy, okay? And as you can see, at 7 p.m. on Sundays and Wednesdays, he hosts live trading sessions. So, of course, I try to make myself available. Now, let's say I can't make it on 7 p.m. Eastern on Sundays or Wednesdays. No worries. You can always go back and go watch the recorded videos, which is why I like to call it the Netflix of Forex. Now, one of the last educational tools that I'll touch on, I'm going to explain to you now. Now, keep in mind there are many educational tools, many scanners, strategies, so much to learn from. We would probably have to sit here for hours, right? As you can see, these are all the educational tools. But one that's included is called the harmonic scanner. Now, this is a computer algorithm that scans the market. It's valued at over $120,000 and it's beginner friendly. It's going to give you those precise numbers to put into the app. Now, that right there is a harmonic, but if I drag it to the side, those blue numbers to the mid right, that's going to be the same concept that you would copy and paste into the app. Now, the harmonic scanner is 85% accurate, but Millionaire Millennials does have a few strategies that increase the accuracy to over 90%. Now, if this is anything that interests you, you're going to get access to our own private guidance, trainings, mentorships, okay, our own signals, our own chat support group. Every single day, we're going to post what trainings are available for you to watch so that you're never, ever left out in the dark. As you can see here, the schedule is very detailed. Upon joining, you will get access to our exclusive welcome letter that will provide you with all the apps that you need to download, the links that you need to join, how to create all your accounts step by step, so you can have so much success within Millionaire Millennials and the foreign exchange market. So now I'm going to pass it over to Alicia, who is the co-founder of Millionaire Millennials. She is a 6, almost 7-figure investor, okay? She has been able to withdraw so much money on this market. She's been able to buy her parents a house with her profits. Now, this is incredible stuff for a 25-year-old, right? Now, Alicia is an average person with above average dreams, just like all of us probably, right? But she has above average results. So she's definitely someone that I would love to emulate in life, right? So give her a few more minutes and she's gonna cover the price and other details that you may be wondering about.
Thank you so much, Raquel, for showing us some of the resources that you use to learn how to trade in this $7.3 trillion market. Now, before I get into information that's going to be critical to your success in this space, I want us to understand who it is that we just heard from, because Raquel Mejia is no stranger to success either. She was actually able to walk away from her job a little bit over a year ago, where she was making $55,000 a year, to move into this space as a full-time investor and a full-time entrepreneur. So not only with someone that's created success for herself, but also countless other individuals within Millionaire Millennials, right? Now let's talk about how much does it cost to access all of this stuff. I promise you it's not as much as you think, right? I'm gonna give you guys the blueprint on how you can access it in the most cost affordable way. And I'm also gonna talk about at the end a second stream of income that you'll have access to, which is residual income, right? So very exciting things in store for us, right? So first things first, to access everything Raquel just showed us. So the signals so you can start to make money, not really having a clue what it is that you're doing. I'll talk about how that worked out for me, right? We're going to talk about also, the education so you can actually learn what it is that you're doing. I have access to mentorship. You guys are going to be in some personal group chats where you'll have access to one-on-one mentorship. But, there's a Telegram chat of over 1,100 traders, right? So people who are just like you, getting started today, all the way up to people like Raquel and myself. We've been trading for 2 years. We've been able to produce 6 figures on the market, and we kind of created the blueprint that's in place for you to follow and see success, right? So to access all of that plus more, it is $235 as an initial payment, right? Now, to offset the upfront cost, this is a subscription-based product. So that means that if you're making money, you're having a good time, you're learning a lot of new things, right? Which are typical results, you have the option at the end of that 30-day span to pay $175, right? To continue to access these resources. Now, notice I said option. I promised you guys I was going to give you guys the blueprint on how to access this information in the most cost-effective way. So we're going to talk about how to get rid of the monthly fee, because understand that you weren't sent this YouTube video to be introduced into a new bill or into something that's going to take money out of your pocket. The goal is that by the time you end up watching this video, you'll have access to 1 to 2 streams of income to add to whatever it is that you're currently doing, or using this to replace whatever it is that you're currently doing, right? So let's go into it. Now, before we go into how to get rid of that $175 monthly fee, I want to take a little bit of time to address excuses, because I've been doing this for 2 years, and I noticed that it's almost human nature to tell ourselves a million reasons why something won't work out for us before we even get started, right? So I want to talk about the common 3, just in case you sitting behind this video might be thinking one of these 3 things. Now, the first thing is that I don't really have the time to do it, right? I don't know if it's going to fit into my schedule. Well, I want you guys to understand that within Millionaire Millennials, there's full-time college students, full-time high school students, People who are working, a full-time job. Some people can't be on their cell phones while they're at work. Single parents, people who are working multiple jobs, so 60 plus hours in a week. I want you guys to understand that, there's people from all these different backgrounds mentioned. Some people doing a combination of the two that were still able to find success in this space. Now, why is that? If you are put in a predicament where you have access to information that's going to show you how to make money from the same device that you're staring at, trust me, you're going to find 30 minutes to an hour in a day to dedicate to this. Now, what's the second thing? The money to actually get started. Now, I'll be fully transparent. When I first heard about this, I was a broke college student. So I didn't have $235 just laying around to invest into myself. But one thing my friend told me to do that changed my perspective on finances was he told me to go back through my bank statements and circle any of the purchases I made that exceeded $235 for the past year. And he told me to put a star next to any of those transactions that actually put me in a predicament to make more money. Now, I didn't even have to go a full year back before I quickly realized that it wasn't the money that I didn't have access to. It was the priority that I placed on changing my financial situation. Because understand that if I said at the end of this video, I have the keys to your dream car, the keys to your dream house, all I need is $235 within the next 24 hours. Trust me, as soon as this video ends, you will find the funds to get the keys to that vehicle or to that home, right? So it's not the money, it's the priority. Now, what's the third thing? Probably the most important one of them all, right? It's the mindset shift that has to happen once you come into this space. Because understand, similar to myself, I grew up watching adults make money, right? And a lot of them were able to produce their income from working a job. So the blueprint that I was personally given was I was going to go to college, I was going to receive a degree in engineering, and I was going to go on to make low six figures in that space, right? Now, when I come into this environment and I see people making my bi-weekly paychecks from their cell phone in an hour or a day, or even if it's taking them a full month to produce those types of results, I immediately realized that there's a more effective way to make the type of money that I'm after anywhere in the world, or more importantly, right, from the comfort of my own home. So with that being said, right, one thing that made me feel better and just kind of pushed me to take that leap is that there's actually a 7-day refund. So let's say within your first week, right, 7 days from the time you get started, you haven't made any money, you're not having a good time, you're not learning anything new, you just completely regret your decision. Well, you have 7 days from the time you enroll to get that initial $235 refunded back to you. So I decided, you know what, the only way I'm going to really figure out if this can work out for me is to just get started and see if it fits into my schedule. Now, I did not come into this space thinking a few years later I'd be sharing my success with anyone and telling you guys how countless other individuals have been able to duplicate those same results, right? I thought I was going to do this for a week. It wasn't going to work out for me, and I was going to go back to my plan A at the time. Now, what happened? And I want to share this story with you because the individual that probably sent you this video probably had a positive experience similar to mine. Now, I started out with the $50 trading account, and I took what's called a signal, right? Now, Raquel showed you guys that earlier. Essentially, all of our expert traders that teach us how to trade, they've all made a minimum of 6 figures on this market. And some have went on to produce 7 and 8. And not only do they teach us their strategies of how to trade, but they also share their trade ideas with us, right? So me 2 years ago, I had no clue what I was doing. I copied and pasted numbers, and I was able to make $50 from my cell phone. So we're not talking about life-changing money. I did not become a millionaire overnight, but it was 100% return on investment nonetheless. And at that moment, I realized that if I was to continue down that blueprint I was given of saving 10 to 20% of my bi-weekly paychecks for the next 30, 40 years of my life until I retire, my bank would have never given me 100% return on investment. Now, why is that, right? Most banks, right, give us about 0.02% return on the money that we put in our checking and our savings account. Now, what do they do with it? Why are they just giving us free money, right? Like Raquel said, they're actually one of the largest participants on the foreign exchange market. So if you don't believe us, after you get off this call, do a Google search. Wells Fargo is one of the many banks that's paying senior Forex traders $140,000 a year to trade the bank's money on this market. So I decided I'm going to cut out the middleman. Instead of me giving a small interest loan to my bank and allowing them to use those funds to create more money, I decided I'm going to learn the skill set myself and get the larger returns on my own investment, right? Now, one thing I had to figure out is how am I going to get rid of this $175 monthly fee? Because at that moment, I stopped thinking low 6 figures as an engineer, and I started to think 7 figures as an investor and an entrepreneur, right? But one thing I had to figure out is how do I get rid of this monthly fee? Me being transparent, it didn't fit into my budget. I could not afford it with the job I was working while I was in college, right? And I didn't want to take any money out of my trading account to pay it. I wanted to allow that account to compound and grow. So that's what my friend told me about, right? My mentor is now who I call him. My friend told me about something called 2 and free, meaning that when I introduce 2 individuals into this space, so when 2 people get started, it gets rid of my monthly fee. Now, at that point in time, it was a no-brainer for me because I took a step back and I looked at all these companies, right, that were moving from being great ideas to household names. And how were they marketing themselves? It wasn't on billboards. It wasn't on Pandora ads. You have to ask yourself, when's the last time I read a billboard and I bought something, right? So with that being said, they were capitalizing on positive experiences in people's networks. So I'm talking about services or companies like Uber Eats, DoorDash, Cash App, PayPal, Airbnb, Postmates, Fashion Nova, right? I can go on and on, but I'm pretty sure all of us have at least used one of these services. Now let's talk about Cash App really quickly. A more effective way, right, to put money from point A to point B. You tell your friend about Cash App, they download the app with your referral link, right? And because you share that experience and they use the app, you get a $5 incentive. So the same thing applied in this space. I made money from my cell phone. I saw the education that I had access to. And I immediately thought about how this could be a solution for anyone in my life because most people are going to fall into one of the three categories. And I want you to think about where you're at right now, right? They're either going to be pursuing their passion, and while they're chasing their dream, they need access to an income, right? That was myself. I was a broke college student, right? Or they're going to be doing whatever it is that they're already passionate about. But unfortunately, not everyone's passions aligns to financial comfortability, right? So this is a way to kind of bridge the gap. Now, the third group of friends, my favorite people, they're already going to be financially comfortable. Not everyone who starts in this space is broke, but the average millionaire has access to 7 streams of income that are working for them at any given time, right? Now, 2 years ago, I didn't know any millionaires, right? So if we're trying to get a non-traditional result, if we're trying to create generational wealth, something that's transferable, right? See, you can't just give that $60,000 a year job to your kid or a loved one. Well, to get a non-traditional result, you have to do non-traditional things, right? So like I said, I started to tell everyone about the results I was getting and what I was learning. And within 24 hours, 2 of my friends were actually trading with me, and I now no longer had to pay that $175 monthly fee. Now, I want to slow it down a little bit because more importantly than me getting rid of a $175 monthly fee, I was able to introduce my friends or put them in front of information that changed the trajectory of their lives. Because over the past 2 years, I've been able to watch people walk away from jobs they aren't happy at, buy their first car, buy their first home. And I'm not talking about with a car note or a mortgage. I'm talking about with cash, right? Paying off excessive amounts of debt. I've been able to watch a lot of success stories over the past 2 years, right? The second thing is that that's 100% optional. So if you think you can come into this space and keep it a secret that you know how to make money from your cell phone, you can 100% do that, right? But let's move into the residual income piece of this. And I want to reiterate, this income is completely separate from what we make from investing on the foreign exchange market. Now, what is residual income? The easiest example I could give you is our musicians. So whoever your favorite artist is, they made hits in the studio years ago. Now, every time you stream their music, you download their album, you promote it for free on social media, they get paid royalties. Well, you have access to the same type of income stream here, right? Network marketing did about $180 billion in sales last year. So that's larger than the NFL, larger than the entertainment industry, larger than the health food industry, right? So you're talking about the world's largest financial market being combined with the world's largest industry. Now, how does it work and how can you get paid? Well, I knew way more than 2 people that could benefit from the skill set of learning how to make money from their cell phone while having access to trade ideas where they can make money from their cell phone, right? And I'm pretty sure you know way more than 2 people as well. So when the third person got started, that put me in a predicament where now I'm getting paid to access this information, right? Now you're what we call a platinum 150 in this space, where you're making $150 every month, $37.50 every Friday is hitting your bank account. Now, all great things start small, just like my $50 days led into a 6-figure withdrawal, right? My $150 months led into a $10,000 month, right? And we're going to talk about that. But I want you guys to understand that it spans all the way up to Chairman 750. Now, these individuals get paid $750,000 a month. So my mentor, David Emanitier, right? He's actually the first African-American Chairman 750 within I Am Academy, right? Now, let's talk about where I was 6 weeks from there. We'll break down those numbers because it'll be a little bit tangible for the people on this call. So with that being said, 6 weeks into this space, not only was I continuing to tell people about what it is that I have access to, but more importantly, I was starting to produce success for other people. Understand that we wouldn't have a group chat of over 1,100 traders if we weren't making money from our cell phone, right? It just doesn't make sense. So with that being said, my friends are starting to have experiences similar to mine, and now they're thinking about their loved ones, their friends, their family members that could benefit from being in this positive environment. So with that being said, there's 30 of us trading together, and I'm now what we call a platinum 1,000. Now I'm making $1,000 a month or $250 every Friday is hitting my bank account. Now, I understand that some people that are watching this, that might not be a lot of money, but I was a broke college student. So that extra $1,000 kind of put me in a different tax bracket, right? But no matter who you are or what you're making financially, I want you to ask yourself this question. With what it is that I'm currently doing right now, how long would it take me to produce a $12,000 annual raise for myself? Now, the answer for me was, as a GS3 in the government making $36,000 a year a few years ago, it was going to take me 3 years at the fastest rate possible to get to a GS7 in the government making $48,000 a year. But I was able to secure that type of promotion for myself base 6 weeks into this space because I moved from an environment where my promotions were dependent on a lot of outside factors that I couldn't control into a space where now the results that I'm getting is a direct reflection of the effort that I'm putting in. Understand that the more videos I started to watch, the more of a profitable independent trader I was becoming, right? The more signals I started to take consistently, the more money I was making while I was learning the skill set. And then lastly, if you choose to, right, the more people I told about the opportunity, the more lives I could impact, and on the back end, of course, start to receive residual income. So why is it that I'm in love with what it is that I do, right? Why am I so happy that this video found you today, right? It literally allows you to shift in the cash flow quadrant. Now, I want you guys to pay attention to this, right? Now, on the left side of this quadrant, we have our employees and our self-employed individuals. So employees, people like myself, I was working a 9 to 5. I had about 2 weeks of vacation, and I would take some sick leave to go on more vacations. Now, self-employed individuals, people who work for themselves, providing some type of service. So we're talking about photographers, makeup artists, tattoo artists, hairstylists. Now, I used to be jealous of these individuals because they could make their own schedule and set their own prices. But what I now realize is that they don't show up to work, they don't get paid, right? So this is 95% of the population, and they only hold 5% of the world's wealth, right? Now, in times like this where non-essential businesses have been shut down for a while, right? Close to 40 million people are filing for unemployment. That's a lot of people that are unfortunately missing out on money right now, right? Now, what do we have on the right side of this quadrant? We have our investors and our business owners. Now, this is 5% of the population, but they hold 95% of the world's wealth. So immediately when I heard these statistics, I realized that I was following the wrong blueprint, right? I was following the wrong group of individuals. Now, by watching this video today, you were just introduced into a financial solution that's going to allow you to move to the right side of this quadrant, because the first step is that 100% of the people within Millionaire Millennials have investment income. $7.3 trillion a day fluctuating on the market. We're tapping into it. We're trading, right? Now, the second step, becoming a business owner. If you're having a positive experience and you feel as though this is an environment that anyone that you know should be in, right? You can start to share your positive experience, talk about what it is that you have going on, impact more lives, and on the back end, of course, receive residual income. So I appreciate you for taking the time to watch this video. Hopefully you learned a lot of new things. If you have any questions, just reach back out to the person who sent you this link and they will be able to answer anything that you have. I hope you have an amazing day.